Hey friend, welcome back to Build Series 2.0 with Florence the Adventure Van. And I've been super giddy today knowing what's in store because I'm heading over to my friend's mill. We're about to embark on one of the most exciting first steps of this whole build project, which is milling a ton of cedar for the paneling inside the van, and I'm just so excited.
Over the last 4 years, I've been making adventure films out of my Sprinter van. Now, together with my wife Janelle, we are finally giving our van the build out it deserves.
Okay, so that first day there that I was vlogging was a year ago.
Yeah, I think around exactly a year ago.
Do you want to tell them why this is kind of a special project for us?
Yeah, it's super exciting because this is a tree from Abbotsford that we gotta be part of making it into boards that are going into our van.
Yeah, there's a YouTube channel I love called Acorn to Arabella. I think I'm saying that right. And they're basically building a boat out of wood that they're milling themselves. And that kind of started the impetus for this idea for me, at least. Then I came to Janelle, I'm like, do you think we could mill our own wood?
But we love the idea of like cabin vibes in the van and the fact that it's like a tree from home. It's like we get to take a little piece of home everywhere we go.
The main thing we tackled on this first day was taking one log, squaring up all the sides, and cutting individual boards out of the log.
She's got a megaphone in her hand, black boots on the street. She's got traction, she's got friction, she's bringing the heat. I gotta tell you, I've never seen anything like this before. She's got a power over me and I just can't take it no more. Fire, fire, girl, we're gonna set it on.
So this is a friend of mine and his dad who was helping us with the whole milling process. And I'll admit on that first day that I was there, I was kind of just a glorified helper. But I was super just pumped to be there. And there's kind of a joke that if the client wants to help with the project, there's an overcharge because it takes longer. I don't think I made it take longer, and I was just really, really excited to be there. Something worth noting at the beginning of this video is that I learned this after the fact, and also just as a whole in this entire project is we should have been wearing respirators while doing this.
100% should have been wearing respirators.
Yeah, I consulted with my doctor friend. I've got one of those, good friend Mark, and he's like, oh, one day, don't worry about it, but try to wear it again in the future.
She's hotter than the sun, sun, sun. You stare, but you can't look away. Fire, fire, girl, we're gonna set it on. Fire, fire.
The cabin vibe is kind of my favorite vibe in a van. There's a lot of different directions you can go. And there is some negatives to doing paneling, like thin wood cladding or tongue and groove all the way up your walls. Like, it's not necessarily the most effective type of siding to do in a van, because then you've got all these individual boards that have to be fastened in all these spots. Sometimes it's just easier to cut thin plywood and wrap it in fabric and call it a day. But I just love the cedar vibe. And so 4 years ago when I bought this van, I was like, yeah, I'm gonna put cedar in it right away. And then I never did. And in the meantime, 4 years have gone by and the van boom has gotten even bigger, and cedar vans are all over Instagram, and we're now really late to the cedar party.
So we wanted to just, I guess, try to find a way to make it our own, make it unique, and put our fingerprints all over it.
So do you know why we pick cedar? as the
in,
wood,
in addition to smelling really good and looking really good,
which are both legitimate reasons.
I think it like breathes well, so it can like absorb moisture and like move. I don't know, it's flexible. I don't know, can you describe it better?
Yeah, I mean, it is very light, first of all, so we could hold all of the wood for covering the surface area of the van. We could hold it. I think that's a big concern when putting a bunch of cladding on the wall, is that there's an impression that the weight is going to go up dramatically, but it really doesn't, at least not versus a plywood product of similar thickness. It's actually lighter to do the cedar. Another big reason for the cedar that Janelle kind of touched on is it just controls moisture really, really well. So living up here when it's colder and you've got bodies in here that are creating moisture, cedar really helps
expand and contract.
Yeah, like just deals with humidity better. So it's like it's not prone to mold as quickly as other woods might be, to my understanding. And cedar's just got some cool history of craftsmen and geographically to this area. It's got some really cool history, and it just looks really cool. Okay, that's honestly one of the funnest reasons. Is it looks great. So the second day we came back and we had some more tasks to do.
So the first thing we did was planed every board so it's like the same thickness all the way down, and all the boards are exactly the same.
Maybe get on this end. Okay, so these two are just sample boards right here. When Tyler was just messing around, kind of showing me pictures of different kind of joints we could do. It's basically just an overlapped edge that can overlap with another edge, and you get a nice flush kind of finish like that. So that's now what we're gonna do with the big stack of boards behind us. We just put them all through the planer. Now we gotta do an edging. On this board, it's edged both on the same side, but it's gonna flip one to the other side, so that way they all just like piece together like a bunch of tiles. It's gonna be beautiful.
It is 3/4 of an inch. See where the knife is there?
So this is an inch, and we're gonna do a little bit less than that.
Yeah, so 3/4. I mean,
So
it's
come
a
to
1/4 of an
here.
inch. Yeah.
I had so much fun. I mean, this was a year ago, but this was like a highlight project of the build by far. And the wood needed some time to dry, which is why we tackled it when we did. And they graciously let it be stacked in their barn, all stickered perfectly, sitting there drying. So that way it would be ready to install when we finally got our butts into gear and got this van insulated, which we did in our last video. So coming soon is us installing the cedar. Woohoo! Thanks for following this build project. We're having a ton of fun. This is probably, again, I keep saying it, but this was like one of my personal favorites. And as we go around and when people come into the van, I think the cedar is going to scream pretty loud the type of vibe we're trying to create in here.
If not, we'll just talk about it.
We'll
We'll be
just-
loud about, hey, look at the cedar, because we're really proud of it.
Thanks for following along the series. We're pumped to have you along. You can support us on Patreon. We've been doing some live streams from the VanBuild with our patrons. Just doing a secret little thing just for them, kind of like a podcast style thing.
So yeah, if you want to be part of that, you can support us on Patreon. Put your comments below. We want to hear from you.
And that's going to be it for this one. So remember, life's better when you make stuff. Peace.
Hey, my friend, Mike Cameron here from Sherwood Park, Alberta. I am a proud patron and watch and support this channel because Levi is an epic storyteller and his visual artistry is second to none. Check me out on Instagram @AxiaMike or on YouTube, Mike Cameron Runs.